and established trading centers and established trading centers at places like trading centers at places like Daman, Daman, comma, Diu, 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 comma, Island of Bombay, Island of Bombay, Bombay, and major center at Goa, major center at Goa. Clear? One line is clear, one aspect is clear. Change the paragraph. Write the next paragraph. Clear? Right. On account of basic reason, on account of lucrative profit, on account of lucrative profit earned by Portuguese, earned by Portuguese, other Europeans decided to arrive, decided to arrive in India, in India. Like the Dutch traders, traders of Holland, the Dutch traders reached India in the beginning of, reached India in the beginning of the 17th century, beginning of the 17th century, and established, like in capital, established the Dutch East India Company, right, all in caps, established the Dutch East India Company in 1602, beginning of 17th century, 1602. Like next paragraph. In course of time, Dutch traders realized, in course of time, Dutch traders realized that spices were produced in abundant amount, in abundant amount, in abundant amount in Southeast Asian islands, right? Southeast Asian capitals, the geography is Southeast Asian islands of Southeast Asian islands of Java and Sumatra, right now located in Indonesia. Java and Sumatra. Okay? Right. Listen then. Gradually, they shifted to Southeast Asia. They shifted to Southeast Asia and ceased to play. CEASEE. And ceased to play important role in India. Play important role in India. Okay? Change paragraph again. Like the third major European power. The third major European power to start trading activities with India. To start trading activities with India were British. Were British. So I'll let you know one thing very clear at the very outset. Clear? The term that will be using for these traders throughout modern history till 1947 and even now, the term is British. There is no term called Britishers. Make it very clear. Never write the question. Okay? Most of you write the word Britishers. There is no word called Britishers. The word is simply British. British itself is plural. There's no point of adding other plurality to this term, Britishers. Clear? There's no term called Britishers. The term simply is British. Never use in writing answers also. Normally we use this term, Britishers. It's a wrong term. The term is simply British. British is still plural. Clear? You don't have to use the term Britishers to indicate plural character. Clear? The term is simply British. Clear? Then by beginning of the 17th century, by beginning of the 17th century, British monarch, Queen Elizabeth, British monarch, Queen Elizabeth, issued a royal charter, to promote trade relationship with Eastern part. Like Eastern always capital, it's a geographical region. Trade relationship with Eastern part. Clear? Like next sentence. Meanwhile, group of private traders in Britain, came together to establish a compact body, for trade in 1599, known as merchant adventurers, yeah? Like, with permission of British Queen Elizabeth, they started to arrive in India. And converted themselves into a company, known as the British East India Company. Is clear? Now let's stop here. Pause for some time. We'll understand something here. Clear? See, one thing that needs to be understood from here itself here. When this trade began to be organized from the beginning of 17th century, it remained to be exclusively a private trade. What do we mean by this? Even though permission was given by British Queen Elizabeth, this trade had nothing to do with Elizabeth, had nothing to do with British government or parliament. Why? All this group of merchant adventurers, they were private traders of Britain who had come to trade with India. And all this sponsorship to trade with India and all financial assistance given to merchant adventurers were provided not by British government in London, were provided by group of financiers and investors in London. Those group of financiers and investors, they came to be termed as board of directors. So group of British financiers in London came together to sponsor and finance this private trade. They came to be known as board of directors, and in this way they became the real owners of British East India Company. So company began to be owned and controlled by group of private investors in London known as board of directors. Meaning thereby this trade had nothing to do with British Queen, had nothing to do with British Parliament, had nothing to do with British government. It remained to be exclusively private trade. Make this concept very very clear, it remained to be a truly private trade till the year 1858. What happened in the year 1858, whereby the private trade came to an end and British Crown began to rule? The most important development was mighty revolt of 1857. But even before that also, British Parliament started to regulate this private trade, and in order to regulate this private trade, they started to enact certain legislations from British Parliament. The first legislation being known as the Regulating Act of 1773. Why they decided to enact this act, we'll discuss the context also. The word regulating itself means the purpose was to regulate, the purpose was to control the affairs of Court of Directors of London and the affairs of British East India Company in this country, because till that time there was no parliamentary control over this trade. It was purely private in nature. This concept needs to be clear. India came under the rule of private traders of Britain who didn't have any sensitivity to look after the demands of Indians, and they went for thorough exploitation of India. Clear? So it must be understood conceptually, it was a pure private trade, nothing to do with British government, parliament, or even British monarch. Clear? We'll understand this concept clearly. Associated with this concept, we'll understand another important aspect also. Clear? Why group of British financiers came together to support this trade or to sponsor this trade? Because we are talking about the beginning of 17th century, and by this time a new ideology had developed in England, and this ideology is known as ideology of capitalism. Clear? What do we mean by the term capitalism? Any idea? What do you mean by capitalism? Yeah? Private, yeah. It's largely related to private, but why and how? What is capitalism? Market driven, yeah, yeah, market driven also. But what is the concept of that? Yeah, market driven, private, everything is good, right? But what do you mean by capitalism? What is the difference between capitalism and socialism? Government का हाथ है, private players का रोल कम होता है, बिल्कुल negligible होता है. हाँ, laissez-faire, free market economy. Well, come to that. Clear. What is capitalism in fact?
The economy focuses mostly on profit.
Profit, yeah, true. It focuses on profit. It doesn't focus on welfare, social welfare. See, capitalism is basically ideology needs to understood. Yeah, capitalism is an ideology whereby it is emphasized, it is proclaimed that resources of a country or a nation must not be distributed equitably among all sections. Why? All sections does not have this wisdom, this knowledge to utilize that resources in optimum fashion. Therefore, capitalism envisages that resources of a country or a nation must be owned and controlled by that group of society which has the knowledge and wisdom to use that resources in optimum fashion. If the resources are confined to that section, and if that section organizes the economic system efficiently, it will result into accelerated growth, and with this growth, other sections of society will also benefit. Clear? So it is not that capitalism is against equality. Capitalism also supports equality. No ideology will be accepted if it goes against equality. But capitalism believes equality will not be injected. Capitalism believes that equality will not be forced. Clear? Capitalism believes that equality will automatically come, but provided economic growth is accelerated. And for that, it emphasizes that resources of a country must be owned and controlled by that class which has the wisdom, which has the knowledge of utilizing that resources in best possible fashion. If it organizes economic system on that fashion, it will lead to rapid economic growth, and with that rapid economic growth, equality will be ensured in coming time. But for this, capitalist class needs to be given. That class having the wisdom to utilize resources should be given free hand, meaning thereby they should not be interrupted with government interference. That is why this concept was highlighted in Britain by a great thinker and philosopher, Adam Smith, when he wrote his work, monumental work known as Wealth of Nations. In this work, he advocated a new philosophy. This philosophy advocated by Adam Smith, philosophy is known as laissez-faire, whereby laissez-faire means let us alone, that is, let us free. Under this concept, he asked that capitalist class should be let free to organize the economic system as they wish without any interference by government. that it is privately controlled and it is market driven. If it is done, economic growth will get accelerated and that will result into proper utilization of resources and in course of time even an egalitarian society as well. This philosophy is known as capitalist philosophy or capitalism. In contrast to this philosophy, the diametrically opposed philosophy of socialism. Clear? What is socialism? In socialism, it is said that resources should not be left under the control of private players or capitalist class. All the resources and means of production must be owned and controlled by state or government. And government will organize the economic system whereby profit and resources get equitably distributed among all sections of society. Here it means that equality has to be injected or rather forced by the state in one go. It will not be left at the mercy of the capitalist class. So in socialism, the state is very powerful, rather the most powerful. In capitalism, the state does not have to play any role in economic system. So it is considered to be diametrically opposed to capitalism, where the state has to play the most important role in order to ensure equitable distribution of resources. Yeah? This ideology developed much later as a reaction to capitalism only. This ideology was first of all developed in France and then in Britain as a reaction to industrial revolution. But this ideology was given scientific and intellectual basis in 19th century by a German thinker and philosopher, Karl Marx, whose concept is known as scientific socialism, highlighted in his work known as Communist Manifesto, which was written in the year 1848. We'll come to that concept in world history. That is Communist Manifesto written by Karl Marx in 1848. Concept should be very clear. So England was marked with the beginning of capitalist philosophy. Since the resources largely remained confined among the capitalist class, those capitalist class only emerged to be private financiers or investors, and they only decided to finance this private trade. Since they decided to finance this private trade, through which the private traders of Group British India Company began to arrive in India, this trade began to be organized on purely profit mechanism rather than with any social objective. Therefore, it is said that it was totally private in nature, with which British government, British Parliament or even British monarch had nothing to do. This concept needs to be understood. It was a purely private trade that began to be organized from this point. Is it clear? Right here. What was the last sentence?
You said that for 150 years the trade was very fair.
Very fair. Based on equal terms.
And
in fact, not fair. It was more beneficial to India.
Sure. And then you said that trade is private, so they went for thorough exploitation. I see a contradiction.
Initially, it was profit mechanism. See, I'll let you know. Why we say that it was more profitable for Indians at this time? Because Indians who were producing spices, Indians who were producing cotton textiles, Indians who were producing tea in the southern part of India, they began to be given remunerative prices because they were coming with their own resources, they were bringing their own resources. With those resources, purchased tea and spices, Indian producers got remunerative prices. Why do we say it was very beneficial? Because by this time, by beginning of 18th century, we realized Mughal Empire started to decline and disintegrate with death of Aurangzeb in the year 1707. And provincial rulers were not efficient enough to purchase all the articles of Indian market. They needed some buyers. That was the reason Jahangir realized this thing and gave permission to establish factories at different places in India. And therefore, Indian producers began to get remunerative prices. So from India's perspective, it was a very fair trade. It was beneficial for economic growth. But on the other hand, when British took all these items like spices, cotton textiles, tea from India, and when they went to the southern part of the European market, they began to sell these products at much higher price. So for them also, it was highly beneficial in European market. Not only tea, even saltpeter which was produced in Bengal was taken away. This you got this question from Hindustan. Which were the major articles exported by Britain from Bengal? The Bengal was cotton textiles, spices, tea, saltpeter. All these were four options given in prelims examination as well. Clear? These items began to be exported by British. They began to earn huge profit in Europe by selling these products in European market. This was one thing. So it proved to be mutually beneficial for Indian producers also, beneficial for British as well. They remained merely as traders therefore for 150 years for which they didn't have any objection. But by middle of 18th century they realized they can further multiply their profit because anyway they were capitalist class, in order to further multiply their profit, they realized it is better to establish political control, and that too over prosperous provinces of India. That is why you realize they always established control over the coastal territories of India. They never went into interior regions because they knew they won't be able to rule over interior regions. They always wanted to rule over coastal regions because they were organizing maritime trade. They could collect those articles from inland region, they could export back to European world. For this I need to know, clear? It can be understood. Look into the second map that has been given to you, clear? You will clearly understand the first British. Sheet 2, India from 1757 till 1857. Look into the areas of India. You will understand, clear? All the white areas were conquered by British, clear? That is starting from our region. We'll discuss all the conquests of our Bengal, then coming to Odisha, then to the southern eastern coast of India, western coast of India, Sindh, and finally Punjab. Punjab was the last one. If you look into the middle areas, Rajputana, then Hyderabad, then this region, they never went into interior regions. Why? It was quite acceptable that they wanted to basically have control over coastal regions to export the articles back to the European market. Clear? They never wanted to rule over India. They ruled over India because they realized Indians doesn't have any sense of nationalism. That is why you get a question in main examination. British conquered India in the field of absent-mindedness. British never wanted to conquer India. On one side they realized they can conquer India. Why? Because they realized sense of nationalism is totally absent among Indian masses. So that is why you need to understand from map. Look into the map of India in the middle of 18th century. There is no British, only the coastal regions, only the regions that established the factories. Clear? Dotted line only. Portuguese, then British, and then Dutch. Clear, friends? Later on, if you look into the conquest British by the middle of 1857, they conquered all the coastal regions of India. Or they conquered, we'll discuss in course of time. Clear? And all these regions that could not be conquered, they continued to rule by native princes of India, and that came to known as princely states of India. And look into princely in the third sheet. I've given the princely states also. Clear? Large areas still remained under the control of princely states until India became independent. At the time of India's independence also we had more than 550 princely states. And all of them were integrated into Indian Union with the efforts of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Very important role played by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in integrating these princely states. Understand the nuances also very well. Clear? If you understand the logic, you will understand the thing. You don't have to mug up anything. If you understand this thing, things will automatically come to your mind. Yeah, please.
Sir, I'm really sorry, but my question is still, I'm still a little busy. Sir, you said that the trade was fair, and you said that there was exploitation at the same time. How is that possible?
See, I'll let you know. Trade was exploitative in nature because in the sense they gave huge profits to Indians. They gave huge prices to Indians. But at the same time, if you compare with the profit they earned in European market, that was weak altogether. For Indians, it was too much. But at the same time, for British, they paid only meager prices at the same time. That is one reason. It became much more exploitative in nature after Battle of Plassey. That is why Battle of Plassey is considered to be a great dividing line. Because after Battle of Plassey is started, direct plunder of resources, which was explained by later on by first economist of India, Dadabhai Naoroji in his theory, Brain of Government. We'll come to that also. Is this point clear? No. Is this concept of capitalism and socialism clear? Because there's huge amount of confusion among candidates with regard to this concept. We'll come to communism also, we'll come to other ideologies like Marxism also, we'll discuss all these things. Don't want to know about communism. Socialism and communism are different. I'll let you know. First, capitalism and socialism is clear? Okay. In capitalism, the state has the minimum role to play in economic activities. Free hand is given to the private players under the concept of laissez-faire. In socialism, it is just opposite. A state has to play the proactive role, whereby state will have control over the means of production, the resources, and so that resources be distributed among all the sections equitably, and an equality in society can be established. This is one thing. Now understand here only this concept. We will be using it throughout the GS course, because these concepts of ideologies are used in all discussion. Polity also, economy also, history also, everywhere. Everywhere. Understand. Socialism is an ideology whereby a state has to play a dominant role to control the economic system and to ensure proper distribution of resources. Clear? That's one thing. If socialism is established in any country, clear, for a longer period of time, and that too efficiently, a time will come when resources under socialist philosophy will get distributed equitably among all sections according to the capacity. That means that each according to his ability, each according to his work. When socialism becomes successful and a point comes when resources get distributed among all the sections equitably, then ultimately it would be lead to an ideal society, conflict-free society, classless society, no discrimination. If such an utopian or ideal society will get established, which is the highest stage of socialism, automatically the relevance of state will come to an end. The state has played its role. Clear? The state has ensured the proper distribution of resources equitably. In the words of Bakunin, who was the follower of Karl Marx, at that stage, when ideal socialism will be reached, the state will automatically come to an end. The state will wither away. And when the state of government will itself come to an end, and all economic system will be regulated by people themselves, it will result into a classless society. It will result into a stateless society. It will result into an ideal society, and this ideal society marked by stateless, classless, perfect equality is termed as communism. So communism is the highest stage of socialism. Clear? Which was highlighted by Karl Marx also in his work Das Kapital that he wrote in 1867, but which was further explained by Bakunin, who explained the concept through stateless society. So communism is the highest stage of socialism. Is this concept clear?
Yes, right.
Now, with this respect, which country in the world is a communist country?
China.
Which country in the world is a communist country?
China constantly policy support.
China constantly.
Economic.
I'll let you know. It's very important because we have got huge amount of inquisitiveness to know about China because we don't know much. But I'll let you know. Clear? Which country in the world is a communist country there? You're giving us none of them. None of them. No country is a communist country. What about China? है बोलते हैं बस बोलते ही क्यों हैं? Russia? Cuba? Venezuela? North Korea? All these countries proclaim themselves to be a communist country. Which country is a communist country? Which country in the world is a communist country? No country. Ideologically speaking, obviously, no country is a communist country. Because ideologically speaking, if a country is a communist country, there cannot be a functioning state. Ideologically speaking. So ideologically speaking, no country in the world is a communist state. But politically speaking, China is a communist country. Because in political manifesto, China proclaims that it is moving towards communism. Clear? It is moving towards communism in the way communism is an ideal aim whereby this country is moving towards communism to ensure proper distribution of resources and then to establish an equality in society. Communism is not a reality. It's a bookish ideology. Every country proclaims to move towards communism. But how many countries have moved towards communism? None of the countries till this date. Clear? Therefore, no country, ideologically speaking, is a communist country. Politically, China proclaims itself to be a communist country. But basically, what is the functioning thing that is followed? What is the real thing that is followed in China? Clear? In China, as you know, it is basically a philosophy of mixing liberalism with socialist philosophy. It's only political manifesto whereby they proclaim themselves to be communist country. But no country can be a true communist country in China in real sense. They follow the principle whereby liberal capitalist principles are mixed with the socialist principle, whereby equality is established. But in China, let you know, perfect equality has not been established. China is marked with extreme inequalities, especially in village areas. Where in China, there's one dominant ideology which is followed. The dominant ideology known as Maoist ideology, Maoist philosophy, which is a variant form of communism. Okay? Since we have entered into this domain, let me explain all these concepts here only, because until you understand this concept, there will be confusion or suspicion in the mind. Make this concept clear here only, sir. Okay? All these concepts and ideologies, because throughout the discussion here, some economy teacher will use these terms. If you are not clear, you will be puzzled there also. Some policy teacher will use this concept. It's my duty to make this concept clear here itself. Socialism is clear. Capitalism is clear. Communism is clear. Now just understand one thing. Clear? So capitalism set aside. Clear? It's a peaceful ideology whereby why we say United States proclaimed that all countries should get converted into capitalist system. That will lead to democratic system. We'll come to that point. Clear? First of all, I'll let you know. Under socialism, we had discussed one important concept that state plays an important role. The state will acquire all the resources and means of production to secure equitable distribution of resources. Clear? Once all the resources is confined to state and the state distributed or distributes all the resources equitably, obviously it will result into the climax of socialism, the highest stage of socialism, whereby the relevance of state will come to an end and a stateless society will be established, classless society will be established, which is known as communism. If socialism takes its ideal route, it will result into communism. Communism can never be established abruptly or in one go. If communism has to be established, first of all, socialism has to be there. Because without socialism, no country can directly jump to communism. This concept is clear, but just understand, this ideal thing has not happened till this date in any country of the world. Because every country proclaims to move toward communism. No country till this date has moved towards communism. Clear? That indicates the limitation of this ideology. And that is the argument of United States. How many countries have converted into communism? None of it. Even Russia, which proclaimed socialism and communism after Russian Revolution. Not even China. What basically happened in reality, that has given birth to a very radical and barbarous ideology at global level. That ideology is, in the name of socialism, some prominent dictators came to power and they decided to acquire all resources with this claim that he will distribute resources equitably among all sectors. People surrendered the resources, the state became too powerful, but when resources got confined in the name of socialism in the state did not move towards communism. Rather, the state itself became very powerful, and that person heading the state became the dictator, and therefore it began to promote ideology of promoting the interest of that nation at the cost of other nations. Even that dictator began to suppress the interest of individuals as well, in order to make the state too powerful and paramount. This adverse development that took place out of socialism only, this adverse development has been given the name of an ideology, and this ideology is known as fascism, which is a barbarous ideology, which is a dangerous ideology altogether, that marked the rise of persons like Hitler in Germany, the persons like Mussolini in Italy, and even persons like Slobodan Milosevic in Yugoslavia as well, who went for ethnic cleansing of Albanians in Kosovo region. Clear? Therefore, the concept needs to be understood. Socialism, if it will take its ideal route, it will go to communism, which has remained only an idea till this day. And in case, in the name of socialism, if resource gets confined to any country or any state, it will ultimately result into a very extreme form of nationalism, interest of private property, and exaltation of state. That ideology is termed as fascism. Clear? Fascism is the abrupt development of socialism. No, socialism is the parent ideology of both. Communism on the one hand, fascism on the other hand. Still, we have not witnessed communism in any part of the world, but what we have witnessed is fascism, which is against all forms of democratic system. That is why US wants any country if you follow socialism, and if it leads to the rise of dictator will always lead to fascism, which is not basically fruitful for global peace and security. Rather, every country should revert back to capitalism, because capitalism has resulted into democratic setup in major countries of the world. This is known as the ideology of fascism. This concept is clear. It will be used off and on in every discussion. Clear? Now, apart from this, I'll let you know. Since we had talked about China, I'll let you know. Clear? If we look into the term communism also acquired different variants. Clear? What are those variants? I'll let you know. Clear? The variants is basically communism. One form of communism is known as Russian communism. Another form of communism is known as Chinese communism. What is the difference here? When the Russian Revolution became successful in 1917 and Lenin came to power, he decided to promote communism. Clear? He adopted an approach also which is known as war communism, whereby a state acquired control over economy, no private property was promoted, only public sector enterprises were promoted. War communism began to be followed by Lenin. But after 3 years only, in 1921, Lenin himself realized this policy will not work. A state control over economy cannot be maintained. He retreated back in 1921, began to make some liberal principles, and that hybrid policy of Lenin came to be known as new economic policy, whereby under new economic policy began to promote both public and private sector enterprises. He began to focus on both, that is urban workers and rural workers as well. This concept came to be known as New Economic Policy, which was very much followed by Jawaharlal Nehru after India's independence, for which we use the term mixed economy in India. This concept of communism was followed in Russia, and Russian revolution took place basically on the basis of workers in Russia. Workers united under Lenin, they organized a revolution known as Bolshevik Revolution. So in Russian communism, the most important role was played by workers. Workers basically in urban areas, working in industrial sector. Those workers were termed as proletariat class, who revolted against the middle class known as the bourgeoisie class. Clear? Therefore, in Russian communism, the most important role which has been played to promote communism has been played by urban workers, which was supported by Lenin also, and therefore this concept of proletariat revolution, workers' revolution in Russia, this is also termed as Leninism, because it was supported by Vladimir Lenin at this time. This is clear. Now, apart from this, China remained under the control of European powers till 20th century. By middle of 20th century, Chinese revolution took place in 1949. In course of this revolution, let you know, very prominent leader emerged in China. This prominent leader is known as Mao Zedong, also known popularly as Mao Zedong. Clear? And this person, Mao Zedong, wanted to ensure equality basically for peasantry class in rural areas. Clear? And that is why Mao Zedong organized a march with communist leaders, which is known in Chinese history as Long March, in 1933. He traveled almost 12,000 miles, and therefore with help of those workers, with help of those peasantry class, he defeated the warlords. He acquired the agricultural land and property from warlords, distributed those property among the peasantry class, and therefore with this focus on rural classes and peasantry class, he promoted his own version of communism to establish equality. This version of communism promoted by Mao Zedong was based on peasantry class of peasants, and this ideology came to be known as Maoist ideology or Maoism. So Chinese version of communism is largely based on the peasantry class based in rural areas. Russian communism is based on basically worker class confined to urban areas. That is why it is not a big surprise. All national forces that operate in our country, they are followers of Maoist philosophy, because they believe that land reforms has not been done in India, landed property has not been given to them, feudalism still exists, and therefore they want violent overthrow of feudal structure in India. They follow Maoist philosophy, and it is more radical in nature, because Mao Zedong advocated taking up arms also against the warlords to take agricultural property. Therefore, national forces in India started to take up arms against the state forces and feudal classes to take back agricultural property. Clear? This philosophy is followed in China even now. But again, since violence cannot be supported by state authority, Maoist philosophy also remains on book. In reality, what China follows is the mixture of liberal philosophy as well as the socialist philosophy in order to ensure economic growth. But we don't know much about this philosophy because China remains to be highly insulated with regard to its policy. Even all its policies in China are drafted in their own language. Clear? And that language is considered to be highly tough and terse, which cannot be understood at global level. The basic thing about China is China does not advocate any other language like English as official language, which is done in India, because China deliberately doesn't want its policies to be known to global world. Clear? But officially speaking, Chinese philosophy is marked by Maoist philosophy, but in real sense, China follows the mix of liberal philosophy and socialist philosophy. There are other variants also. We'll come to discuss all the same. Socialism also has got different variants. Utopian socialism, Marxian socialism, also known as scientific socialism. We have got Fabian socialism, different branches of socialism. We'll come to that. Clear? We'll discuss all the ideologies. Don't worry about that. Clear? Anarchist philosophy, syndicalist philosophy, everything. First of all, understand the concept of socialism, communism, variants of communism, then Marxism.
Russia previously followed the socialist philosophy.
Socialist philosophy.
Then it realized that it won't work.
It won't work.
In
Strict socialism will not work.
Okay, strict socialism.
That's war communism. private sector and the new economic policy of Lenin, 1921. Yeah? And same thing was replicated by Jawaharlal, which led to mixed economy in India. China में socialism नहीं. Yeah, initially it was promoted socialism only because communism cannot be promoted without socialism. The state has to be there. That is elected by the government. This resulted to socialism after 1949, when People's Republic of China was born after communist revolution. Yeah? Initially socialism, but they decided to move towards communism. Socialism was there, and from socialism they wanted to move towards communism. Yeah? And communism under the ideology of Maoist philosophy, Mao Zedong, that is based on peasantry class and rural areas, not liberal capitalism. Socialism moved towards communism. But China. See, when China was a country in 20th century, it was dominated by warlords. Who are warlords? That is persons having a small military contingent who dominate over certain regions. Those warlords took away the agricultural resources of the peasantry class. Peasants were left hand to mouth. Peasants cultivated everything, but they were not left with any resources. There's one thing clear. Peasants gave all these resources to them. Clear? And therefore, peasantry class was having no major rights. Clear? And peasantry class were maximum in number. Numerical strength was very high. Therefore, in order to move towards socialism or communism, it became very important, first of all, to serve the interest of peasantry class. In this respect only, Mao Zedong, or Mao Zedong, he came to prominence. He began to organize all the peasantry class with the help of communist leaders, and he went to rural areas. He never focused on urban areas like Russian leader. He moved to rural areas. He traveled almost 12,000 miles, which is known as Long March in Chinese history. In this process, he defeated several warlords. After defeating warlords, he took away agricultural lands and property from the control and distributed those agricultural property and land among the peasantry class. When peasantry class got land, it resulted in huge popularity of Mao Zedong, and therefore his ideology also became very popular, which began to be termed the peasantry class as Maoism or Maoist philosophy. Maoist philosophy believes that rural class, that is peasantry class, they should take up arms, and through violent means also, they should eliminate all control of feudal classes and should take back the resources. Therefore, as compared to Russia, it proved to be more radical in nature, whereby even the peasantry class took up arms. Here, taking up arms was not promoted. Workers should come together, they should go for collective bargaining peacefully, and they should have their rights from the mill owners. It remained to be an urban movement confined among workers. Here it was popular movement among the peasantry class, that too in rural areas. This is the difference between Chinese communism and the difference between Russian communism. This is the concept in instrument of India, please.
In the case of Lenin, he himself realized that his socialism wouldn't work, and then he promoted both. But for Mao, he stuck with socialism all his life.
Communism.
Yeah, he tells of communism all his life.
Is it clear? But ideologically speaking, China is not a communist country.
इंडिया में पहले से ये था जब अपन 19th century का देखते हैं विजन जो मूवमेंट हुए थे लैंड सेटलमेंट
Peasant movements, but none of them were violent in nature. Peasant revolts were there that were violent in nature. Peasant revolts and movements are different things. Revolts are always marked by violence. Movement is always peaceful and organized in nature. Revolts were organized. In that is Santhal rebellion, other rebellion, Munda rebellion. These were all rebellions. Rebellions and revolt means violent in nature. But they were not guided by any definite philosophy like Maoist philosophy. It was totally sporadic in nature, spontaneous in nature. And that is why, since of a spontaneous nature, it could be suppressed easily by ruling authority. There is a difference between revolt and movement. Revolt is never planned. Revolt is basically unorganized, clear, sporadic. Movement is basically guided by definite ideology, definite aims, and it is properly organized. There's a difference between revolt and movement. This is fine. Now, giving us this thing, which ideology is followed in India? Socialism. We follow which ideology? Mixed economy. But mixed economy is there, there's no doubt. That is private sector, public sector. But do we follow any ideology also? And if we follow, what is that ideology? Democratic socialism. Democratic socialism is Fabian socialism. That is mild socialism, advocated by leaders like Annie Besant. Clear? Okay, democratic socialism. Officially, do we proclaim any philosophy? Mixer, yeah. We are known for mixing anything, clear? We are known for making cocktails, clear? Okay, okay. We mix everything, clear? Okay. We are known for that, clear? But at the same time, let you know, clear? Officially, India does not follow any ideology. Make it very clear, clear? India does not follow any ideology. Make it very clear. We don't follow socialism. We don't follow secularism. We don't follow federalism. We don't follow any ideology. We follow the practical aspect of our ideology. Clear? In the preamble to our constitution, the word that is used is socialism. We have never used the word socialism. Why? The reason is, if we officially accept any ideology, it would become mandatory for the government to ensure that. Clear? If we follow socialism mandatorily, then it would be the responsibility of the state to forcefully acquire the resources from influential sections and then to distribute the resources equitably among all sections. But being a peaceful country and a democratic country, we could not go for forceful acquisition of resources. That is why we proclaim that we will follow socialist pattern of society. That is, we will attempt, we will try that resources does not get confined to certain section, it gets distributed equitably. But for this, government cannot be held accountable. It is not mandatory for the government. Government will attempt, government will try. That is why two articles are there in our constitution to ensure equality of distribution of resources. One is Article 39B, Article 39C, whereby resources will get equally distributed among all sections, prevention of concentration will take place. But if you look into that, Articles 39B and C comes under directive principles of state policies which are not enforceable in the court of law. Clear? Unlike fundamental rights. That makes it very clear. We don't follow socialism, we follow socialist pattern of society. Our brand of secular concept is also different from the concept of other countries. We follow the positive definition of secular unlike other countries. Therefore, we don't use the word secularism. We can write secularism, but officially it is not proclaimed. We don't follow federalism. We have used the word federal form of government, federal setup of government in our constitution. We have never used the word federalism. We do not follow any ideology. Make it very clear. While writing answers in essay and all, in history and everywhere, make it very clear, don't write any answer for India. Write all the practical aspects of it all. Make these basic concepts very clear, because if you write this conceptually wrong, you are penalized in the exam. Clear? Make these concepts very clear. We'll come to all other ideologies in the course of our discussion. Clear? Coming back to our point. Clear? What was the last sentence that we wrote? Last sentence, in continuity that we were writing.
Information will arrive in India and converted themselves into a company known as
India company, right? Next paragraph. Right, from the very outset, British trade with India remained to be British trade with India remained to be private in nature, remained to be private in nature. Very important. That this trade was sponsored. This trade was sponsored by group of private investors. By group of private investors in London. Investors in London who were collectively termed as court of directors. Termed as court of directors. Yes? That this trade was executed. This trade was executed by members of British India Company, by members of British East India Company, who were private traders. Okay? Let me finish. In other words, British government or parliament In other words, British government of Mali had nothing to do with this trade. Had nothing to do with this trade. It's a very important concept of money. Yeah. Nothing to do with this trade. Yeah. Right, next paragraph. Right. After their arrival, officers of British East India Company, officers of British East India Company decided to establish factories like RYS, don't write RIES, yeah? Decided to establish factories at different locations, factories in inverted comma, at different locations in order to store articles of trade. Okay. Like the premises of factories, were to be used only as a storehouse, were to be used only as a storehouse, rather than for manufacturing activities, rather than for manufacturing activities. Okay. That in order to establish factories, British East India Company deputed British East India Company its officer, initially Captain Hawkins, deputed its officer, Captain Hawkins, to the Mughal court, Mughals were ruling over India, to the Mughal court in 1609. Okay, right. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, Emperor Jahangir gave permission. Jahangir gave permission to establish factories. Permission to establish factories after some hesitation. He had some hesitation. After some hesitation. Okay. That even though British took decision, to establish first factory, at Surat, comma, they established their first factory. At first factory at Masulipattanam, South India. First factory at Masulipattanam in 1611, followed by their second factory, at Surat, in 1613, after 2 years. members of the British East India Company, the members of the British East India Company traded peacefully for almost 150 years, 1.5 century, almost for 150 years, whereby they came to realize one major limitation, about people of India, about people of India. Okay. Right. They came to know that India was just, a geographical entity, without any sense of modern nationalism, without any sense of modern nationalism among its inhabitants, among its inhabitants. That therefore they decided to establish their political control. They decided to establish their political control over Indian territory, over Indian territory. Yeah. We'll come to Bengal separately. Yeah. Right, next paragraph. Meanwhile, another European power came to India for purpose of trade. But they were French traders. French traders who established French East India Company, in 1664, and also established their factories. They also established factories, at Masulipattnam, similarly as British, at Masulipattnam and Surat, in 1664 and 1668 respectively, Clear? Now they came in the second half of 17th century, just understand. Clear? See, European history, we'll discuss in while history. European history is largely about the conflict between Britain and France. Britain being the most powerful country in Europe, and France being a prominent country in European mainland. Clear? These two countries proved to be arch rivals in Europe right from the very beginning. And therefore, when French came to India, the rivalry between two countries in Europe got exhibited in India as well. And therefore, whenever two countries began to fight in Europe, the respective two companies began to fight in India as well, which resulted into three important battles in India, wars in India, which are known as Anglo-French Wars, and which are popularly also known as the Carnatic Wars, as they were fought in the southern province of Carnatic in the middle of, or in the beginning of 18th century. We'll understand about this concept that resulted into Anglo-French Wars. Clear? So first understand, These two countries were arch rivals because both countries decided to acquire imperial control over different parts of the world. It was not only in India. Even when America was discovered, Britain established its control over northern part of America along Atlantic Ocean, which resulted to 13 British colonies there. Thereafter, French also went to North America. They also established their colonies in northern part of America. So wherever Britain established colonies, France followed it, and obviously race for imperialism and colonialism began to take place between the two countries. Later on, when industrial revolution took place in Britain, after some years industrial revolution took place in France also, both Britain and France decided to acquire raw materials from its colonies and to supply their finished products to their colonies. This resulted into commercial rivalry as well between Britain and France. Since the two proved to be arch rivals in European politics, and as they came to India, the rivalry got manifested in India also, that resulted into three Carnatic or Anglo-French wars, most of which were repercussion of European conflict between the two powers. Clear? How this started to take place, we'll just understand. Clear? Since two countries were fighting against each other in Europe in the year 1740, the two countries began to fight in Europe, which is known as which is termed as Austrian War of Succession. Why? Because Austria was a very prominent country in Europe. When the ruler of Austria died, France wanted its own candidate to be placed on Austrian throne. England wanted to have its own nominee on Austrian throne. Therefore, conflict between Britain and France took place in 1740. The war in European history being termed as Austrian War of Succession. As the two countries began to fight each other in Europe, the respective companies began to fight in India after some time, which is known as the First Carnatic War, also known as the First Anglo-French War. Clear? When this war started, the area of this conflict in India was the southern province of Carnatic, which was a province of the large state of Hyderabad in southern part of India. This war continued for some years, and finally Austrian War of Succession came to an end between Britain, France and Europe in 1748. This war came to an end with a treaty signed in France known as the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. This treaty ended this war in Europe, and under the terms of this treaty, it was also made clear the two respective commercial companies in India will also stop fighting in this country. So this war came to an end not by any treaty signed in India. This war came to an end by a treaty signed in Europe. But this war proved to be indecisive in nature because both powers proved to be equally matched. And since it was a European phenomena, the war could not be prolonged to give a decisive result. It was abruptly ended with the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle signed in the year 1748. Even though this first conflict was because of European phenomena, but just after a few months only in 1748, political situations developed in such a fashion in Hyderabad and Karnataka that this resulted into second war between the two respective companies. This war was not because of European phenomena. The second Anglo-French war was totally because of the native conditions that prevailed within India after the death of the ruler of both Hyderabad and Karnataka at the same time. We'll discuss about this political situation in which French and British played a very important role. On behalf of French, a very prominent military ruler played this role. That person was Dupleix. We'll discuss the role of Dupleix in the southern part of India during Anglo-French struggle. We'll write about Anglo-French wars as well. Okay? Right, next heading there. Like Anglo-French wars or Carnatic wars. Separate heading. Anglo-French wars or Carnatic wars. Carnatic. Carnatic wars. Okay. Right, introduction first. Britain and France were arch rivals. Britain and France were arch rivals in European politics. Arch rivals in European politics. Which had its manifestation in India. great monopoly over India, which resulted into three Anglo-French wars. Three Anglo-French wars in the southern province of Karnataka. Okay? Same paragraph, right? Next one. Like the first Anglo-French war. The first Anglo-French war was a reverberation, was an echo, was a reverberation, reverberation of European conflict, reverberation of European conflict between Britain and France. Britain and France. Like the two countries began to fight against each other. In Austrian War of Succession. In Austrian War of Succession. War of Succession. In 1740. 1740. Okay, like after some time, British and French East India Company, began to fight in India, without any major reason. There was no major reason. Without any major reason. That is why we call it echo of European phenomena. Without any major reason. Clear? Right. This war ended in Europe. This war ended in Europe through the Treaty of ended in Europe through the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. It's a place in France. Through a Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Aix-la-Chapelle in 1748. That under the provisions of this treaty, the two respective companies also stopped. Its conflict. It stopped its conflict in India. Okay? Like in this way, the first Anglo-French war ended. The first Anglo-French war ended without any conclusive result. Yeah? First major war. Yeah? Like next paragraph. In contrast, the second Anglo-French war. The second Anglo-French war began due to political development. Within India. It was not an echo of European conflict. Within India, in provinces of Hyderabad and Karnataka. In provinces of Hyderabad and the rule of Carnatic also died. That created politically volatile situation in which Dupleix, the French governor, played an important role. Okay? Since our topic starts from here, from the middle of the 18th century, this was the background. From here, the real discussion will start in order to understand all the nuances. Clear? See, one or two things I'll make it very clear. Clear? I'm making you write some dates also. Clear? I'm making you write these dates basically for present point of view. Clear? But while writing your answers in mains, don't try to write many dates. Clear? I'm making you write to understand the dates in order to attempt questions in prelims also. But while writing in mains, write only the broad period. Don't write the exact dates. Clear? Middle of the 18th century, it will work. Clear? Even if you write that the first Anglo-French war took place in the middle of the 18th century, it will work. Clear? Don't write the exact dates. Don't force yourself to memorize any date. But if you're writing this date, if you revise this note, in prelims you get the dates, you will easily be able to recognize. Clear? So prelims is basically you have to recognize. Mains is about recollection. Clear? PT is about recognition, mains is about recollection. Recollection is of the stuff than recognition. Why recognition we say? In prelims, in objective type questions, you will have one question, four options. Out of four options, one option is right. Meaning thereby, you just have to recognize the right option. Even if you have read once or twice, you will recognize the option. In mains, you don't have anything except question. Yet thereafter, you have to recollect. When recollection comes, you cannot recollect minute facts and figures. And as we told you discussed yesterday, you have to give answers based on arguments supported by facts and figures. Because I let you know, one question which is asked from this area, which has been asked also, that the key to India was being looked by Dupleix in South, whereas the key to India was found by Robert Clive in Bengal. Clear? Why we discuss? Because in the Third Carnatic War, Robert Clive defeated French in sea at this time, and therefore it was basically because of resources from Bengal. So key to India was being searched by Dupleix in South. Key to India was found by Clive in Bengal. If such kind of analytical questions you get, you don't have to write years, facts, and figures. You have to explain the scenario. Clear? Are you getting my point? In meanwhile, in this discussion, we start discussing questions also, which has been asked in previous papers to understand the blocks within the circumference, to fix upon your focus, and then to write effective answers. This is clear. So from here, basically the middle of the 18th century start, we discuss about the Second Carnatic War, that was basically because of political situation of Hyderabad and Carnatic. This is fine. Anything to be asked till the point we have discussed. Anything that you want to ask. Any question that comes to mind. Clear? It's not with history, with regard to overall GS also. Clear? See why I'm discussing all these concepts. Because maybe if a teacher comes in polity, he uses the term socialism, you're not black. You know about socialism. You know about communism. Clear? That will be very easy for that person also that you know all these concepts. Clear? Since the beginning phase, if you don't understand anything, just let me know. With regard to any concept, we'll understand those concepts, then only we'll proceed. There's no point of leaving any concept and proceeding. Clear? It's beginning, you need to build the base. Clear? So anything which is not clear, let me know. Clear? Okay, all these terms will be used in later course of time also. Clear? Is it fine? Anything that needs to be asked? Please proceed.
प्राइवेट कंपनी बस इतनी आर्मी
अभी आर्मी देखिए इसमें मैं आपको बताऊंगा ये वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्लियर दिस क्वेश्चन इज वेरी वैलिड कि विदाउट आर्मी हाउ ब्रिटिश इंडिया could establish such a political power and how come this private company can have such a large force. It's very important, very valid thing. I'll let you know. Clear? Till beginning of 18th century or till middle of 18th century, British were only analyzing the situation. From the beginning of 18th century when Aurangzeb died, Aurangzeb was a powerful Mughal Empire. As soon as Aurangzeb died, Mughal Empire started to decline and disintegrate. We have given that in printed notes also. Decline of Mughal Empire. Weak rulers began to rule over Mughal Empire. Bahadur Shah, Ahmed Shah, Shah Alam II. All these were very weak rulers. Since Mughal Empire started to crumble down, provincial kingdoms began to form. Those provincial kingdoms were not as powerful as the centralized authority of Mughals at this time. Therefore, British realized after the death of Aurangzeb, now they have the capacity to organize military force as well. Why? The reason was, who were this military force? Understand this condition also. Military force, British never established any standing force. Clear? They were basically peasantry class. The peasants who were there in the rural areas. Clear? That is why the British were termed as sepoys or peasants in uniform. Nothing more than that. Clear? British began to give them assurance that you serve as military sepoys, military soldiers under us, and will give you sufficient amount of remuneration. Since agriculture in India was highly vulnerable to natural calamities, even now Indian agriculture is considered to be gamble in the hands of monsoon. Year long, agriculture activities could not be carried, and agriculture was not remunerative also. British began to give this option to peasantry class, who basically acted as soldiers for the rulers also. Part-time work you can do for us also, and for that work, ad hoc purposes, will pay you the amount. Clear? Once the work is done, you'll be ready to go for your agriculture activities. Those Indians who began to be recruited by British as sepoys, they began to be termed as sepoys in uniform, peasants in uniform. Whenever any war was to take place, battle was to take place, British used to recruit them. Whenever they won the war, battle, they were again relieved and they went for agriculture activities. Clear? In this way, British were able to establish large military force. They never brought any soldier from Britain. Why? It was not feasible also. How could British Parliament or government, who had nothing to do with this thing, could hand over its military soldier to a private company? It was not a feasible idea. They conquered India with Indians only, which is a great paradox of modern times. Clear? And Indian soldiers or sepoys who were from Bengal, they didn't have any hesitation in defeating the soldiers of Western India, because for him, his country was only Bengal. For soldiers of South India, they didn't have any problem defeating the soldiers of Punjab, because for them, their country was only confined to South India. British capitalized on this absence of nationalism, because Indians did not have the sense of nationalism at that time. In this way, British were able to recruit large number of people, and with them they defeated other Indian powers. This was the basic reason. That is why national movement, why we say India was to be converted into a nation. People should think that they belong to one common nation. Once India will get converted into a nation, no foreign authority can rule over India. That sense was there. And that is why British were able to recruit large military force. And most of the time, the battles over the conflict that took place, they were basically short-lived. Because British were very well prepared, they gave a decisive blow to Indian rulers. That is why in modern history, we use two terms. These two terms are known as battle and war. There's a difference. What is the difference? What is the difference battle and war?
Battle is short-lived.
Short-lived. Short-lived you mean to say?
No, I mean it doesn't last for very long.
That is true. And what would be the duration?
And it's not for authority, I guess.
Sir, war ज़्यादा destructive रहता है जी.
War obviously is more destructive in nature, but why? Because that is also clear when you will then understand the difference war and battle.
Because both the parties are same level of power
War.
in war.
Then why any power gets defeated then? If both are equally matched. The logic is there. And if both are equally matched, why will they fight? The question first of all arises. If United States knows that China is equally powerful, if it is not there, do you think the United States will take any reactionary measure? If the two sides are equally matched, why will they fight only? Because they know that the result will not come up.
Sir, war superiority के लिए रहता है.
Superiority के लिए.
Yeah,
True.
better
But
कोई एक area cover.
see, all these differences are there, but basic differences with regard to duration. But duration is fixed, clear? Battle is basically a one-day affair, intra-day affair, clear? It starts in the morning, it will end before the evening. If it is a one-day affair, it is known as battle. If it is of more than one day, even for 2 days, it will be termed as war, clear? There's a difference between battle and war. Battle is a one-day match. It has to play in the one day. It can be 20-20 also, depending on the warrior combatants, clear? But normally it's a one-day match, clear? It has to be decided. That is why, in prelims, it's very important, clear? They will ask you the date of battle. They will never ask you the war. Why? Because battle is a one-day affair. Battle of Plassey, 23rd of June. Battle of Buxar, 22nd of October. Why dates are important? Because on that same day only, decisions were taken. Clear? So battle is basically a one-day affair, intra-day affair. War is of more than one day affair. It can be for years also, 7 years also, 8 years also, 1 year also. If it exceeds the duration of one day, it will be termed as war. If it is only an intra-day affair, it is always termed as battle. And whenever you will use the term battle in the history, we'll always use the date, because it is a one-day affair. Clear? That also needs to be understood. Clear? Battle and war. British were able to recruit ad hoc forces. That is why those forces never had any problem in conquering other areas. But they never wanted their own province to be conquered. That is why, maximum number of sepoys or soldiers recruited by British was from the Sabha province of Awadh in North India, present state of Uttar Pradesh. But when British conquered Awadh, it affected the sentiments of sepoys only. And that is why Awadh was conquered in 1856 by Dalhousie. In 1857 only, the sepoys of Awadh retaliated that resulted into the foil mutiny of 1857. That needs to be understood. Clear? So it cannot be that they didn't have any sense of nationalism, but their nationalism was confined to their provinces. Clear? It never crossed their provincial boundaries. But we cannot blame them for that. Clear? Because if they believe that nationalism was confined to their region, they cannot be blamed, because that nationalism was to them. They served their motherland very well. Clear? Right now we say that we need to be nationalist with regard to our political boundary. We may also not be right. Because maybe our future generation will blame us also. Clear? Because maybe in coming time our national frontiers get changed and we will start to believe in global nationalism. If global nationalism become prominent in coming years, we will be blamed that our sense of nationalism was very narrow, confined to Indian boundary. That is the option, that is the argument given by Romila Thapar, A.G. Noorani these days. Clear? Nationalism cannot be defined within political boundary. Mahatma Gandhi believed therefore that Indian nationalism need not be confined to Indian boundary. Rather he believed in the concept of humanity at large. Humanity does not know any boundary. Clear? So nationalism should also not know any boundary. So it doesn't mean that if we are promoting nationalism within our boundary, we are right. In coming time, future generation can blame us also. Our sense of nationalism was highly narrow in nature. Given this relative concept, we cannot blame them also. Clear? Because their sense of nationalism was right, given their provincial boundaries. Are you getting my point? Clear? So it's a flux. This ideology itself is a flux. It's not a concrete ideology. Yeah, please. कॉम्बिनेशन तो पहली बात संभव ही नहीं होता नहीं, लेकिन होता क्या मैं आपको बता दूं, कॉम्युनिज्म कहीं नहीं आता है, डिक्टेटर का राज आता है इन द नेम ऑफ सोशलिज्म. आप जहां भी देखेंगे, जहां भी डिक्टेटर्स आए, वो डिक्टेटर सोशलिज्म का नाम लेकर आए कि दे विल इंश्योर सोशलिज्म एंड सोशलिज्म इन टाइम विल लीड टू कॉम्युनिज्म. हिटलर की जो पार्टी थी उसे कहा जाता था नेशनल सोशलिस्ट पार्टी, जिसको बाद में नाजी पार्टी कहा गया. कहीं भी आप देखेंगे, तभी तो यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स से अमेरिका क्या कहती है कि आप सोशलिज्म प्रमोट करेंगे, इसका मतलब यू आर प्रोमोटिंग डिक्टेटरशिप. सोशलिज्म के नाम पे रिसोर्सेज तो ले ली जाएंगी, लेकिन जब वो रिसोर्सेज को या संसाधन को बराबर तरीके से डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं किया जाएगा तो क्या होगा? एक ऐसी सरकार बनेगी जिसमें एक आदमी रूल करेंगे. और वो जरूरी नहीं कि वो आदमी सबके इक्वालिटी की बात करें, समानता की बात करें. वैसी स्थिति में क्या होगा? वैसी स्थिति में ये होगा कि पूरी जो रीजन है वो उसके अंडर में आ जाएगी. ये है, तो ये डिक्टेटरशिप है. और वो डिक्टेटरशिप जब आती है तो उसको कहते हैं फासिज्म, क्योंकि वो एक ही स्टेट की बात करते हैं. ठीक है, वो सारे कंट्रीज की बात नहीं करते हैं, एक स्टेट के इंटरेस्ट को करने के लिए वो अटैक भी करते हैं. वो फासिज्म कहलाता है. तो अमेरिका यही कहती है कि सोशलिज्म के नाम पे, जैसे समाजवाद कहा जाता है, उसके नाम पे केवल एक ही चीज देखी गई है, वो देखा गया है राइज ऑफ डिक्टेटर, तानाशाह जैसे कहा जाता है. यही देखा गया. कहीं पे भी कम्युनिज्म तो आज तक नहीं आया. अगर कम्युनिज्म एक भी कंट्री में आ जाता तो अमेरिका के आर्गुमेंट अभी डिफाइन हो जाते. वो वास्तविक तौर पे तो कहीं हुआ नहीं. तो ये प्रॉब्लम सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है सोशलिज्म और कम्युनिज्म. इट्स क्लियर. ओके फाइन, क्लियर. We'll continue. We'll take a break for 15 minutes. Yeah. We'll have a break for 15 minutes. Give me 1 more hour. Today we need to discuss about newspaper. Yeah. Because we need to discuss about private. Have you prepared the logistics with you? 4 files are there with you. The files are there with you. Labels are pasted on that. You said you were not there. We had a discussion. Just sit in the class. Just understand the logistics. Clear? Syllabus are there pasted on that. Clear? Okay, just take a break for 15 minutes. Have tea and coffee, anything that you want. Clear? Come again for after 15 minutes. We'll have a discussion on this. That's a very important step for us. Okay? Because I want to establish a set pattern so that you can follow the pattern throughout the entire journey. Clear? Things should become much more easier. Clear? 1 more hour. Give me 1 more hour. We'll settle after 15 minutes. Clear? Thank you. अगली हाँ हाँ the primitive society was common. Yeah. In fact आपको बताऊँ tribal society was very equal. इसका सबसे example women है. जहाँ जहाँ tribal society women की पोजीशन हमेशा अच्छी होती है. आप हमेशा देखेंगे. North East में women enjoy equal. Primitive societies mark this equality.
इंटॉलरेंस रहता है, लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंस।